早上好 Fitness 的各位，这里是 Fitness 周报，我是瑶。今天是2021年4月29日星期四，我们的第4季度已经过半了。本周是老师为9年级而返校的准备的第1周，希望他们在学校里过得愉快。大家记得要保持好成绩，年底就在眼前了。我们的新闻团队有多种语言的播报，你可以在 Advisory 或在 YouTube 的频道里观看。我们本周的名言是：新的一天带来新的力量和新的想法。如果你有和大学相关的问题，请确保加入 CAP。CAP 是一个帮助所有准备申请上大学的学生的一个项目。如果你有任何需求，请联系 Miss Kelsey 获取更多信息。双语学生不要忘记参加每周3的会议，你可以和你的朋友讨论学校重新开放的计划，并分享你的想法。同学们，4月是我们庆祝地球月的月份，我们可以做一些小事来保护我们的环境，减少要扔掉垃圾的数量，尝试重复使用或者回收。本月的最佳学生分别是 Kelly、Min、秦颖高、Migma、Elmer、Rameses 和 Krista， 他们因为优秀的学业表现和高的出勤率而受到表彰，做得好。同学们，Fitness运动会终于来了。以下是 Miss Truice 想对各位同学说的话。
우린 뼛속까지 다름 아이 창피하다가도 멍석깔면 발음 Born skinny만 살쪄도 난 마름 계산은 느려도 눈치는 빠름 인기를 논하자면 안에 이만 아픔 Big boys not my boys 싹둑싹둑 자름 우리 이름 들린다면 뚜루뚜루 맞음 Jerk jerk I said I bust it down from top to the bottom 검은색 분홍 Fill up in it make it lit like 웃음 지켜나는 소리 어려운 걸 해내주니 이쁘잖아 savage You better run 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 You better run 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 All my diamonds stay yellow oh bright bright Get 'em blind can't find me I'm out of sight If you mad stay mad we not alike SABAD keep it pretty pretty 널 걸쳤지만 자태부
参加音乐系的同学的表现们都很好，大家都非常了不起，继续练习吧。暑假活动，你想在暑假做一些有意义的事情吗？天普大学为高中生提供了许多项目，为大学生活开个好彩头。更多信息请看你的 advisory 或向老师咨询。Teacher Spotlight， 今天我们的播音员 Chris 将会采访 Mr. DiPasquale 和他的团队成员 Jose。Mr. DiPasquale 是一位代数老师，同时也是我们学校的足球教练。
Good afternoon, Mr. D and Jose.
Good afternoon, Chris.
I have a couple questions for our interview. I'll start with Mr. D. How long have you coached sports?
I've coached for 6 years now, 4 at Furness, 2 at my previous school.
Okay. So we know that you teach math too. So are there any similarities with being a math teacher and a sports coach?
I guess, as a teacher, you have to motivate students, right? So it's very similar in soccer or baseball or any sport. Motivate people to try hard, push themselves to be their best, and I think there's the similarity.
I agree. Because of COVID, many students have been affected because of the restrictions of sports. How have you kept athletes motivated during the seasons?
So with soccer, I think it's just our team is so good. Right, Jose? I mean, we have a chance to be champions of Philadelphia this year, and I think that is the motivation. I wish I had the secret remedy for getting everyone to show up to practice every day. That's ideal, but it doesn't always happen. That's a tough thing. So to be honest, when I have a big team, I can kind of put pressure on the players to say, hey, if you don't come to practice, you're not going to play in the game. But at this point, we need everybody. We have no substitutes. And I don't know if people are taking advantage of that situation. I don't know what it is, but definitely Jose can remember years where we had 20 people show up to practice.
Yeah.
Consistently. And this year we're lucky to get, 5 or 6 sometimes. But with that being said, it's a weird year. You got COVID, you got people working, and I understand different situations. I think the motivating is how good we are and how much of an opportunity we actually have to be city champions this year. And I think that's keeping everyone involved and motivated.
That's really nice. And what is the most difficult part of being a sports coach?
I think that is a big part of it, just motivating people to show up to practice. It's not – some people find excuses, and it's like, when do I accept the excuse? When do I not? Do I question you about it? Do I assume you're being honest? And as a person, I always assume people are being honest with me. Could I be being taken advantage of sometimes? Possibly. But I think just that is one of the most difficult things of coaching is getting people to consistently show up to practice and because that's what's going to make the team better, and just getting people to come consistently.
Many students say they want to be involved in sports. What do they need to know before becoming a high school athlete?
So you remember, you're a student athlete, right? So you need to have the student part taken care of. You have to have good grades. You can't be failing classes. You also you need a physical. I mean, you cannot play without a physical from a doctor. So there is a PIAA Section 6 form that needs to be filled out by a doctor. Your family also has to fill out a few other forms. And if your grades are good and you have the physical and the parent permission forms filled out, you're eligible to play. Most sports at Furness, there's not cuts. We don't have such a huge school where you get cut from the team. It's pretty much, if you want to join a team, you can, as long as your grades are good and you have a physical from a doctor and your parents' permission.
Talking about athletes, what makes a good athlete?
That would be a good question for Jose. He's a good athlete, and I think it's his drive. He has the drive, and honestly, some people I feel are born just more athletic, or I don't know if you're born that way, or just over time, the activities that you do make you more athletic. Who knows? But I think at a certain point, it's drive that makes you a good athlete. Do you have the drive to keep pushing yourself and getting better? And some people have that and some don't. And that kind of separates the really good ones from the average player.
Yeah, it's true. The potential. And it's spring, so like it rains a lot. So how would you avoid disruptions promoted by rainy or cold weather?
Yeah, that's tough. We there's a situation going on this year where all the sports are trying to get their games in a small window of time. So if you cancel a game, you can't always remake it. You can't always play that game. So we try to play unless the weather's really bad. We did have to cancel one soccer game, but we made it up. But that's the problem is if the weather's bad, if you cancel, you're not always going to get to play that game. So we just try to play in good weather. Of course, if it's practice, we'll take the day off. There's no indoor facilities, so I coach outdoor sports. Of course, if you play indoor sports, this doesn't matter, right? But for baseball and soccer, it is an issue, and we just try. We're encouraged to play the game if we can, and if we can't, we just try to reschedule as long as there are referees available and a field available.
Thank you, Mr. D.
You're welcome, Chris. Thank you.
I asked and Jose now some questions. When did you start playing sports for Furnace?
I think it was my sophomore year. 2 years ago, I started playing. Yeah.
Can you describe some exciting game moments as a player with Furnace?
There are a lot. Well, actually, in our most recent game against Mastery, one of my defenders, he just scored a goal in like the half of the field. That was really crazy.
Oh, that's impressive.
Yeah. We have scored some last minute goals. We have really some really, what do you call it? Some really impressive moments when Mr. D is coaching us, because the way he talks to us, it motivates us. So we just push ourselves a lot harder. And yeah.
You got a good coach.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What is something you learned playing sports at Furnace that might help you become a successful adult?
Always keep your hard work up. Don't ever give up on something you know you're capable of doing. Like, for example, going to practice. Don't ever stop going to practice if you know you can go. And just keep your discipline up. That's what I have learned.
Yes. Keep trying, even
Yeah.
if it's hard for you. What do students who want to be a member of a high school sports team need to know?
There shouldn't be no slacking off. No days off. No nothing like that. If you really want to win and compete with other teams, you gotta be able to take the hard things for yourself.
Thank you. Thank you for the interview, guys.
Thank you. You're welcome, man.
感谢 Mr. D 和 Jose 提供的有关于体育的趣事。如果你需要免费食物，分的是一个食物发送中心，不要忘记每周五上午9点至下午2点在分的是领取食物。来自 OST 的 Kelly， 你喜欢为你的社区发声吗？你需要学校的服务时间吗？YVC 在周五的3点半到4点半通过谷歌会议开会。以下是4月的校外服务时间日历。欲了解更多信息，请联系 Mr. Kelly 或 Miss Christina。 Furnace 的学生一直和一位当地的艺术家在合作，他们将在4月29日星期四的费城图书馆举办的活动中朗诵他们的诗歌。我们邀请所有人都参加这个短篇和诗歌活动，请在你的 advisory 中寻找参加的链接。同学们，约利的 Rise Summer 项目回来了，这是一个暑期实习项目，它将安排学生在在城市周围的组织和企业，给他们提供解决社会问题的经验。你还可以在这个项目中得到报酬。更多信息请参看传单或联系 Miss Dr. Davis 了解更多信息。关于获得计算机和互联网帮助的信息，请见此传单。另外，如果你不能参加虚拟课堂，请给你的老师发邮件，确保你的作业按时完成。请务必在 Twitter、Instagram 和 Facebook 上关注我们，并在我们的网站 furnace.philasd.org 上查看有用的信息。我们的网站还在 YouTube 上提供多种语言的每周公告。本周的公告就到此为止，感谢您的收看。注意保暖，在虚拟世界和现实世界都要注意安全，戴好口罩，勤洗手。我们下周再见。